Hello, everybody. I've decided I'm forced to do something a little different today. Because as it turns out, I've been trying... This video was actually recorded weeks ago. But unfortunately, in my experiments, I managed to record like an hour of footage. Yeah, I'm still going on my Decepticon run.
Optimus will not arrive alone. Seek out and terminate his Autobots wherever they may hide. Then, the greatest prize of all, Optimus Prime, shall be ours.
Yeah, as I was saying, I managed to record an hour of gameplay footage, which happened to be the last hour of gameplay footage, without any of my commentary whatsoever. I just tried something that didn't work at all. Hopefully this time I can actually get some words in. Unfortunately, it won't be my live commentary I like to do, because I like to give like an actual gameplay experience impression, not just sit and talk about history or anything like that. Because the entire purpose of this is to showcase games that more or less don't exist anymore. And I want you to get an actual idea of my thoughts as I play the game, and my experiences as I play the game. Which this doesn't really do. I don't like this, but this game, I just think deserves to actually have attention put on it. It deserves to be completed. It deserves to be seen. So I'm just going to do what I have to do to get the game up, and share my thoughts on it, and basically just show the rest of it, because it's just a shame not to. This, according to my list, this was actually the 4th game I played, if that shows you how long ago it was. In fact, this might actually have a leg up in the other episodes, because you might actually be able to hear the audio. Which you can't on the rest of the episodes. I'm very sorry about that. Somebody's ahead of my head, you need to be able to hear me clearly. You need to be able to hear me clearly. Or however that's actually said properly.
I will celebrate your destruction.
So that basically means I'm going to sit here and silently watch an hour of Transformers gameplay footage. Which isn't so bad. I mean, that's what I expect you to do. Of course, I will be editing it for you guys, if I end up dying and repeating parts and all that. I actually don't remember how the last hour went. I don't know if it went smoothly, but I don't remember it going terribly. I do remember certain key things that I want to talk about as I get there.
Sweep and clear. It's powerful. Engage all enemy units. Who is foolish enough to oppose me? They are weak to it. Last we have failed to do.
Oh yeah, we're already to the Optimus fight.
Optimus Prime is near your position.
At last. Now, a final victory is at hand. Optimus Prime, at last. Now, wait.
This is an awful fight. If I remember, literally all I do is smash the attack button. He doesn't run. He doesn't transform. He doesn't try to flee. He doesn't employ any trickery. I smash X and he dies. Which makes him the easiest boss in the entire game. I am not even joking. Bumblebee and bearded robot what's-his-face later on are harder. Jazz was harder. I think Jazz was in this. Might not have been. He died in the first movie. Long Haul was definitely harder.
We have defeated Optimus Prime! Which would not have been possible without my assistance, Grindor. Do not forget it.
You both gloat too soon. The boy remains hidden.
We will find him, my lord. Of that, I am sure.
Our work today was very fast indeed. I am pleased. We must continue to destroy all in our way.
The museum's location is on your radar.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I start saying stuff that I've said before.
Our enemies arrive.
I literally can't remember what I talked about last time
You
when I
must
actually
open
played it.
fire and engage the targets.
But I think hands down the Flyers are my favorite gameplay in the game.
Aliens stop you. Destroy these
They're just
Autobots.
so dynamic.
Our mission must continue.
In a very
The boy is inside with Jennifer.
uniquely Transformers kind of way.
Destroy the museum and they will die together.
Not shot.
Do not be distracted. The museum must be demolished.
And yes, this takes about as long as it looks like it will. Not much to say about that.
You are taking damage. Activate defenses. You must open fire and engage the targets.
I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I think I'm actually hunting
Autobots
the
are approaching in attack formation.
bonus targets. I don't know, I was just getting hurt too much. I'm not sure. Could be either way. Well, it's hard to fly through things, but at least the collision detection is actually halfway decent. I mean, it's not like I'm slamming into things that aren't there, it's just slamming into things that are there in kind of a weird way.
Engage the targets. Structural
Which is probably the better way for it to be.
Continue your attack. Autobots have entered the perimeter.
That's me probably forgetting what all the buttons are again. Yeah, this is why I don't like post-commentary. I guess I could write something down to say, but that just feels unnatural too. It just feels like I'm sitting here going, look, I did that. And I fired that missile, I fired that one. There's a missile warning right there.
Engage the targets.
I got hit by something. I'm firing more missiles at the building like I'm supposed to. It doesn't feel like an experience, it just feels like I'm narrating, which I really am. And I don't like that.
Destroy these Autobots. Our mission must continue. You are taking damage. Activate defenses.
I suppose if I ever get into writing full-on reviews instead of my Let's Review series, that'll actually be a little better. I can write something, then basically just a standard video review. So, I mean, you're not going to come to me for that. You get that everywhere.
Fire. Protect yourself.
I don't know if I can actually add anything to that sort of stuff. My point of view, I guess. That might be worth something to someone.
Targets.
But I've always been of the opinion that reviews are at their best when they're informative. I'm not saying that reviewers need to be totally objective or anything, but reviews should be informational more than anything. Nothing is more informational
Structural
than
integrity.
seeing it for yourself. That's kind of my take on that whole thing.
You are taking damage. Activate defenses.
And there are cases where that's not practical, of course. Like Life is Strange or one of the Telltale games. If you sit and watch it all,
You must engage to complete our
there's
mission.
not exactly much left for when you actually play the game. Which is unfortunate. I mean, I probably won't end up playing any of those anyway.
You are taking enemy fire.
But
Protect yourself.
at the same time, for something like this, you kind of have to see it to get a feel for what the game is actually about, what it's like. So I've seen reviewers absolutely fail to describe a game. If I played a game, I see a reviewer just trying to describe it, going, why didn't you do that? Why did you miss this? You didn't mention this, blah blah blah.
You must engage to complete our mission. The museum is close to structural failure. You have nearly...
Which is why, ever since video reviews have become commonplace on the internet, ever since videos got to the point where they were good enough quality to showcase this kind of gameplay, every review I've ever watched has been a video review. Because they're the only ones worth a damn. Oh, I guess I don't really care. They're the only ones worth a damn. Because they say their opinion, and then you can watch it and see if you think that what they're talking about is actually valid, or if you think they're overreacting to something. The ability to decide for yourself is the biggest benefit of video gameplay.
eliminate them.
And then, of course, in the case of series like this, my Let's Remember series, or the Lost Game as it was known when I recorded this, I don't even know if it was called that when I recorded this. Like I said, this is the 4th game I ever played for this channel. It's been a couple months since I played it, too.
Enemy fire. Protect yourself. Structural collapse.
In this case, it's more about remembering the games than
The city has lost...
giving impressions of them or letting you judge them.
No surviving life forms. Megatron will
Because,
be-
as I keep saying, you really can't buy this anymore unless you find a secondhand copy somewhere. Just coincidentally.
The museum has been destroyed, my lord, as you ordered.
Then why do I sense your fear? Have you disappointed me again?
Jetfire and the boy used a space bridge to escape the collapse. The boy still lives.
Good. He is too valuable to kill. Why did I know you would fail me? We cannot show mercy to our enemies. Crush them until they break. That is the Decepticon way. Now, back to battle. Let us see how much pain the humans will take before they relinquish the boy. The boy has escaped us. He has fled with Jetfire to the deserts of Egypt.
Then that is where the Harvester shall be found.
The Harvester, my liege?
The Dynasty of Primes built a machine to harvest energy from the universe's many suns. But my brothers were weak and afraid to use the Harvester on inhabited star systems. Only I was willing to do what was necessary. But my brothers betrayed me by hiding the Harvester. Without Energon, I was forced to leave Earth, abandoning it to the human vermin who infest it to this day. But now, the Harvester is close. Find it, my apprentice, and I shall bestow upon you the powers of the Dynasty. You too shall be a Prime. Our enemies are near. They cannot be allowed to find the Harvester.
Oh.
Seek them out. They should not have come here.
I think this is the second to last level. I thought I had more here than this. No, I'm pretty sure there's... Oh yeah, maybe this is that fight. I think this is the Bumblebee and Jetfire fight. Which was actually not my favorite battle.
There are more of them. Seek.
It's harder than the Optimus fight, obviously.
Enemy contacts.
You can't really get easier than that.
Eliminate them.
But at the same time, it's in an annoying way rather than a challenging way. We'll get to that when we get there.
Autobot contacts moving to intercept.
Our time will soon be at hand. Show them no mercy. You must survive until the completion of our mission. as weak as they appear.
Yeah, I think of all the abilities in the game, the overdrive was the one I vastly underused. I almost never used it. And it's actually so useful.
New Autobot contact. The one designated Bumblebee.
I'm not used to beating up the
Yeah, it's hilarious and sad that Bumblebee is the second to last boss instead of Optimus Prime.
crush the insect.
This kind of shows what the movies did to the
Shall not be
Transformers and
denied.
the characters, where Bumblebee kind of gets top billing. And nothing against Bumblebee, or Transformers fans who like Bumblebee, but dang it, he's no Optimus Prime. And yeah, you see that little stupid little paralysis thing Jetfire keeps throwing down? That is why I hate this battle. I hate games that think that throwing those kinds of, well, I guess it's not undodgeable. I could keep an eye on him.
It's a waste of energon.
Those games that think that handicapping the player and taking away abilities that they've had through the rest of the game is taking away their ability to control it, really, constitutes difficulty, and it absolutely doesn't. That's not challenging. Not letting me use the control stick isn't a challenge. It's just artificially making the game harder than it would otherwise be. And to be honest, the sequence here is already pretty hard. I mean, having to manage both the ground fight and the air fight simultaneously here like this against two bosses, that should be hard enough. You don't need the paralysis thing. Now maybe he's supposed to be balanced in the multiplayer, because multiplayer is actually huge components of this game. But god dang, do I hate it in this fight.
Bumblebee neutralized. No additional enemy contacts.
Nothing stands in my way now. All will come to pass. It is time.
Well, as I live and wheeze, my old friends come back to walk with me.
Jetfire, your long life ends today. Destroy him.
Two allies are strong enough to defend themselves. Let the slaughter begin. Attack the weaklings.
And of course, AI is still what it is. Actually, of course, I was doing that too, just clipping random buildings when I was trying to fly around. But I guess I can't nail him for it too much.
Recharge like I used to.
The weak shall always be destroyed. Sweep and clear. Two allies are strong enough to defend themselves. Who is foolish enough to oppose me?
Do not relent. His power has dropped to 50%.
I'm not used to beating up the young. I'm rather enjoying it.
Is this right? I seem to remember dying in this. Did I actually manage to get through this in one shot?
Tell us.
Maybe I did.
Maybe. When I was 50 years younger, you knew I'm hurting.
50 years? That's kind of a short amount of time in the lifespan of a Transformer. In the original show, didn't they crash to Earth millions of years ago? something absurd like that?
You underlings offer me no challenge.
At least if you watch Transform or Beast Wars, I think that's what they say. I was more of a Beast Wars kid. Transformers was slightly before my time. Beast Wars was my jam. Oh, I did beat it one shot. Nice.
We have eliminated all who would defeat us. Our triumph will soon be complete.
If you are so certain, then where is the Fallen?
Do not doubt me, Starscream. Our master will join us soon enough.
We are taking far too much damage out there.
Grindor is right. Our victories will mean nothing if our oil runs dry.
Soundwave reports that the human hive has been given a weapon of great power. We must return to Egypt at once. The gun is positioned in the center of Cairo. Its location is marked on your radar. Now hurry!
Oh, this is where this mission is.
Our enemies will do all they
So
can.
the second to last level doesn't even have an Autobot in it. I would just like to point that out.
Yourself, Decepticon.
That seems extremely weird to me. The Autobots should be the climax. I imagine this is kind of a really awkward level to begin with. I did not like this level at all.
Now begin your task. Eliminate the weapon. But that is no excuse for failure. These vermin are everywhere.
It took me a little while to figure out actually what they wanted me to do. I actually can't remember exactly what it was.
Idiot into battle. Your
See if I can figure out from my action. No, that was actually a pretty good shot. That's cool. I can't remember if it goes down on a timer or you have to destroy very specific enemies, or just all the enemies. And of course the idea is to take out that big gun in the center.
protect yourself, fool.
See, now it goes down, and now I can shoot it for a little while before the shield comes back.
Is barely damaged. Have I sent a warrior or a weakling?
Oh yeah, and that's where I die.
Sent an idiot into battle. Your damage levels are rising. The gun is barely damaged. Have I sent a warrior or a weakling?
Also, I know Megatron is evil, but that's just straight up harassing the player.
Damage levels trouble me. I thought you were capable of this. More filth heads your way. You must do more. The gun still operates at half its power. Protect yourself, fool. You are no good to be dead.
I started getting super cautious at this point, I think. Get shot at all, I run away to heal.
Blood flows. I bleed. These vermin are everywhere.
Yeah, even looking around, I'm still not sure if it's timed or if you have to take out a certain number of enemies.
Do not fail me.
It looks timed to me.
Bounty's gone, and puny humans can no longer stand in our way. Ultimate victory will soon be ours. The traitors and their insect friends approach. By destroying the weapon, we have cleared the way for our final triumph. Now, as long foretold, The Fallen returns.
And what of his great weapon, the Harvester of Suns?
It too shall be revealed.
We have achieved our goals and caused a high body count. We have done well, Decepticons.
And now to meet our master and his great machine. This planet's sun will be but the first of many to fill our need. The harvest begins.
If only the ancients could see their machine unleashed. Revenge is mine!
And this is the final battle.
No, this must stop. You dare challenge me? I am a Prime! You abandoned that name when you slaughtered your brothers. Claim your reward. You shall be made a Prime.
You must protect yourself, Master.
Didn't I destroy Optimus Prime? Why is...
Primes are born, not made, Megatron. You were betrayed. Pointless words from a failed machine.
Boy, they sure do talk a lot.
Doomed planet.
Give me what you promised. You will pay for your betrayal.
You dare defy me? Obey!
Are you guys done? Yeah, let's... Yeah, I think...
We haven't much time. The Harvester is powering up. I must find a way to stop it. He has called in reinforcements. Defeat them if you wish to
You're
survive.
dead, Optimus. Stop talking.
I have waited too long to be stopped. Even by you, Megatron! When I am done,
Okay, forget it. I don't want to sit and listen to them anymore.
universe,
This final battle is one of the most disappointing parts of the game for me.
never again shall I want for
Just because,
power.
A, they take away the thing that makes the game unique.
Failed
The transformations, how they just kind of let you fly around as a robot instead of transforming. I mean, honestly, it would have been better. I mean, I know they're following the movie. And this is the final battle of the movie. But as far as the gameplay goes, it would have been much better served if they had found a way to incorporate the transformations into this big battle. Just letting Megatron fly around just feels cheap to me. Kind of takes away from the identity right at the last second. And this game actually had a really slick identity. This game, I would put this in the same vein of like Spider-Man Web of Shadows, in that it had obviously had a very talented team that wanted to do something great with a license, but they just weren't given the time or possibly the budget to actually pull off their ambition. This is definitely a game I'd use the word ambitious for, not just open world, any open world game. That's not ambitious. Ambitious means original, unique design from the ground up, intended to give a specific experience. And this is the most Transformers game I have ever played. I'm a big fan of the War for Cybertron games. They're great games, but they're basically FPSs with Transformers pasted on top. I mean, it's very good. They're good FPSs, and the Transformers paint is really well done, but they're still Transformers FPSs. This, aside from this final battle where it feels like half-assed Dragon Ball, really did feel a lot more like a Transformers game. The transformations were so well integrated into the combat. And especially, I might as well mention it now, but
Tactics are
when I was still playing this game, I actually got into a multiplayer match. This was in think like maybe February or March of 2018, and there were still people playing online. That should tell you something about how unique this game is. People are still playing it. There is no other experience out there quite like this, especially multiplayer. The Vault multiplayer match I played was actually a blast. I had so much fun in there. It's definitely an experience worth having if you can find the game. I mean, if you find it, you'll probably be paying like $5 for it, maybe. I know the game is relatively rare, but it probably won't set you back very much if you do find it. Well, I don't even know if it's rare, it's just discontinued because licenses run out. Which is the reason most games that are on this channel are on this channel, because the license ran out. Yeah, I'm only halfway there at this point. This battle is such an anticlimactic climax. Because when it comes to final battles, I feel like you can do it one of two ways. You can make it simple, but epic and atmospheric. Or you can make it super complicated and challenging. To test all of the skills the player has gained over the course of the game. You can do one of those two things. Now, different people have different preferences for which ones they like, but typically either one will work. This does neither of those. This is just a gauntlet of the same crap you've been doing throughout the game, just without transformations being really relevant to anything. I mean, even his flight doesn't really quite match Starscream or Grindor. He's just kind of hovering around. And at least Starscream and Grindor like changed weapons and had different attributes while they were flying around. Megatron is just Megatron everywhere. Wait, is this? It's not even that hard. I don't think my health has gone down very far at all throughout the course of this whole thing. I think a lot of this is just me forgetting the controls. Man, the game had very complicated controls. Which is another one of those things that could have probably been refined a bit with more time. Movie licensed games always have slightly more constrictions than just general licensed games. Because they have to match the release date of the movie. Or typically come out slightly before. Usually. Whereas with something like that Transformers game on PS2, that was also fairly good. Or the Batman Arkham games, they're just sort of their own thing. They don't have a time window, they have to release it. All games have release dates, of course. And budget limits, but it's probably not quite as tight as movie tie-in games. Which is probably why you don't see many movie tie-in games anymore that aren't mobile and very quick to make. defeated the Fallen.
Megatron! Optimus has deactivated the Harvester. The planet survives.
No matter, Starscream. Soon the humans will feel my wrath. The time has come. I will unleash the only force worthy of my trust. An army born to serve us. Legions enslaved from creation to answer only to my command. Arise, my children! Yes! Your time has come! Arise!
Yep. It ends with Megatron summoning an army of zombies to take over the world. To be fair, I'm pretty sure that was a plot of Transformers Prime as well. But yeah, as I said, this game is super sad in that you can see the passion in it. It is so ambitiously original that it's not hard to see why people didn't like it. People like to be comfortable with the games that they play. People like it when games feel familiar, and this didn't feel familiar. It probably could have been refined better. The controls were extremely convoluted. And the concepts were way out there, even for the time and for the license. I mean, I remember a lot of the reviews at the time complained about the fact that transformation was limited to a button. Instead of being able to turn into a car and have a bunch of buttons do different things, you hit a button and transformed. But that just helped it integrate into the gameplay so smoothly. And it let the car do what the car is supposed to do, get you around quickly and not be clunky. Which is something even War for Cybertron kind of failed at. Cybertron, when you were in a car during a battle, you still felt like a robot. You were just shaped like a car. When you were in a car driving around, you had these separate streets that you had to drive on. So it wasn't really like it was augmenting the gameplay any. It was just these separate areas where you could utilize this function of the controls. The transformations were truly a part of the gameplay, and no other Transformers game has done that. It is just a crying shame that this couldn't have been sequelized into something more similar to War for Cybertron. A sequel to this, based in the cartoon universe, could have been War for Cybertron before War for Cybertron came out. It really could have. But instead, it ended up not happening. They ended up making FPSs with Transformers, which is fine. Again, I like those games well enough. It's just not uniquely Transformers like this is. Like, I challenge anyone to name another license that could be pasted on top of this game and still make a lick of sense. I don't think you can do it. Not with a variety of gameplay presented and the way it was all done. I mean, even just the way Starscream controlled, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe Gundam could pull it off? But then I don't think there are Gundams that are shaped like cars. I don't know, maybe. I'm not a big Gundam fan. I still can't believe they actually got Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf to be in this game. I swear they sounded like pretenders to me. They were impersonating themselves. Probably about what they were like in the movies, too. Imagery of Earth, courtesy of NASA? That's actually kind of awesome. I actually used NASA footage for the, like, outer spacey, looking down the planet scenes. It's actually some pretty cool music right here. Simple, but pretty cool. And it looks like we're reaching the end. At least we're at the end of my commentary. There might be a little more credits left. But that, we have successfully remembered Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen. Definitely one of those movie licensed games that breaks the common conception of, oh, all licensed games are bad, blah blah blah. I'm not saying it's great, but it's definitely worth checking out. Especially if you want either a unique gameplay experience, or you're a friend of the franchise. By all means, if you can see it, find it. Find it. I think it's worth it, especially if it's only for a couple dollars. And that is it for me. We will remember more games next time. Later.